Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Football Focus SG podcast with myself, Faiz, Harun Azrianafi, and Mr. JB. Welcome back, and it's been a while. How have you guys been?
I'm good. I'm good. I hope everyone's been well. I hope the two of you has been well. It's been a long time since we do this. In a way, it's a very good break for us. And I'm looking forward to, starting back again.
Mr. JB, yourself?
Yeah, it's been good. It seems like we are also have been away like some of those footballers, yeah, in the summer transfers right now. So I think for us, we took a little bit longer than their summer transfers, but yep, it is what it is. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah. So, of course, before we start anything, of course, I definitely have to address a little bit on this podcast what exactly happened for the past 6 months compared to the last post of what we have. So, basically, my laptop crashed, and ever since then, been trying to find ways to get it back, but focus on our health and everything. COVID stuff also all happening, and catching up on football as always. We never miss that. So, a lot of things happen. EPL finished, SPL has started, and World Cup, which is supposed to be in this month, but ended up in November. So we have a lot to talk about because we have seen the World Cup group stage as well, which we're going to talk about in all future. So don't worry, we have all plans coming up. And also for Harun Azri and Mr. JB, we have a brand new game that's going to come up for you guys and for future, which I have prepared. And there are prizes to be won this time. So in the meantime, before I start anything, I'm just going to start something simple first. Harun Azri, how has football been for you so far for the past 6 months that has been missing away?
Um, I guess it has been very good to me. We saw a lot of football for the past 6 months. Like you mentioned, EPL is over. Most of the European leagues are over, and SPL has started. So it doesn't mean that we're totally off football. We still do have some football to watch. On a personal note, I'm just coming off a 2 weeks break from my own coaching,
Nice,
starting back
nice.
tomorrow. So this is a good time for us to do this. It coincides very well for me to get back in the game, talking about football, and then tomorrow going into my first session after a 2 weeks break.
Yeah.
So all in all, it has been good. It has been great. Yeah, like I say, looking forward to getting back on the field and looking forward to more football.
Nice, nice. Mr. JB, how's football been treating you for 6 months since we've been away?
I mean, it's been a roller coaster. We all know what happened in the Premier League, how it ends and everything, which I think you will cover more on that. But yeah, I think on the brighter side of things, I think this year will be very good. I would say a very good year for football fans in general, especially in the Asian region where I think we have quite a number of international matches, our AFC Cups, AFC Champions League.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's quite refreshing to see domestic football being covered in that way, especially in the ASEAN region as well.
Yep.
And of course, our own SPL is back. I believe Malaysia League is back as well.
Yep.
So all in all, I think football has still been great, and yeah, looking forward to like what you mentioned, the year end, the big year end event, and that is the World Cup.
Mhm. Definitely. All right. So for today's podcast, because since we've been away a while, it's very hard for us to really digest and digress to each individual. So I'm gonna more focus on general aspect. Gonna overview a lot of things, but just a general summary. So I'm gonna give you guys basically each league, basically EPL, SPL, and things that are going on right now. And I want you guys to tell me how you feel. So I want to start with Mr. JB first. Since the Premier League has ended, and you as a Man United fan, in your summary, what would you sum up the season as a whole? Not just as a Man U fan, but as a neutral fan perspective, with Man City winning the league and the three teams that were relegated, which we're all gonna talk in a while. So, in general, how do you feel the season actually is?
Relief, relief. I think for Man United fans, I think right right when Ole starts, the bad string of results, and then the change and everything else. I believe from that point on, I think especially most Man United fans, I think we are just hoping that the season will end. In general, I think everything that's not supposed to go wrong did go wrong, and and you can see that it's just igniting the fire, and that is not a good thing. So the club is really burned down up to the end of the season. But that's for Man United. But overall, I think as far as the champion goes and everything else, I think it's a very delightful two-horse race. It's very, very close, very, very tight. Credit to both clubs for the finish. And I think the relegation battle, I think it's quite expected, but of course there are some teams that surprises us. So in general, I would say it's a pretty good season overall in terms of EPL, but not so much as a Man United fan.
Okay, all right. Harun Azri, yourself, like, what would you summarize this EPL season alone as a neutral fan?
I think as a neutral, it's been a very good season. I'm very thankful that Liverpool did not finish with the quadruple. That I have to say. But all in all, yeah, if I were to summarize, I think it was, I wouldn't say it was one of the best seasons. I wouldn't say that it was the best season ever. It ended up being a two-horse race between Liverpool and City. And I
Yep.
think, I felt even though City were champions, they were not at their utmost best, I feel. But in the end, I think whoever ends up as champions, for sure they deserve it. And for the relegation battle, I still remember, even though we haven't been recording for the past 6 months, I
Yep.
still remember at the start of the EPL season that has ended, I mentioned that Burnley was going to get relegated.
Yes, you did.
And it
You
happened.
did. You called
And
it.
it happened. Yeah, I don't remember the other two teams, but at least I got one of them. I guess I even mentioned Norwich, if I'm not wrong.
Norwich is almost guaranteed by three of us. I think the
Yeah,
Burnley was a
so
bit of a
so I got two out of three. I'm happy with that. But yeah, it was a good EPL season. A lot for me as a coach to digest and for me to learn a lot of new things. We got a lot of coaches from different backgrounds from all over the continent. Yeah, it was a good season, I felt, in the EPL.
yeah. Personally, I have a slight disappointment in this season. Not because of Arsenal fan, but as neutral. And here's why. If you look back to our predictions and look at all the signings that the other team made, we actually expect more than a two-horse race. Can we agree? We actually expected Chelsea to be on top. And that was our prediction. We actually thought Chelsea to fight for the title. They're nowhere near. Manchester United, I'm sorry, but you guys are even more far off. So though it is exciting to always see an EPL decided down to the last day, it's always nice to have that because that element of surprise. We may not know who's actually going to win, but of course Man City did. But something tells me that the rest of the team are still miles away from Man City and Liverpool. I think that's one thing that I believe everyone can agree on. Other than that, relegation wise, yeah, I think Burnley, I'll give it credit to you, Harun Azri. For Norwich and Watford, I think it's pretty much straightforward. I think we can kind of see them coming. It's no surprise, really. So that's EPL. Now, the next league that I think, Harun Azri, I want to start with you first to talk about, that we can try to summarize. Serie A, the brand new champion, AC Milan. What do you think about this season for Serie A alone?
I think for Serie A also it was, I think if I can use a word, I'll say refreshing over the past two seasons, not just this season alone.
Yeah.
Last season we had Inter Milan winning it. This season we have AC Milan. Usually we're always talking about Juventus ending up as champions.
Yeah.
So for AC Milan to do it, I think it's brilliant. It goes down to the work that the manager, Mr. Pioli, has done over 2 seasons, I believe, or 3 seasons that he has been at the club. You see stability from for me personally. When I look at the team, I see stability in a sense where you could see that over the past 2 seasons they were building up to something. Yeah, and it was a fun title race. It was also goes down to the last day of the league.
Yeah.
So brilliant. What else can you asked for, right? Brilliant, brilliant.
I mean, there was at one point, it was actually a 3-horse race till at least about 2 to 3 games left before Napoli kind of falls out and left
True.
only the Milan derbies.
True.
It's actually a very entertaining race. There was up and down. Napoli was first all the way. Remember, there was no loss on them. They were
Yeah.
having no loss together with AC Milan. Inter Milan was somewhere in the third, fourth. Juventus were falling off, but they catch up to fourth. So it's been
True.
an interesting one. But Mr. JV, you've been a long supporter of AC Milan yourself as well. Back then, are you excited with them winning the season?
Yeah, I would say yes, but because I think I supported them long enough, so I kind of like sort of give up of them winning anything. So for some reason, this win is almost like a bittersweet because I think I'm not sure when's the last time they won like a cup or anything like that. I'm not sure domestic wise.
Yeah.
My apologies for that. But at the end of the day, like what Nazri mentioned, yes, it is very close as well. If you realize both Milan and Inter, I think they only lost like 4 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, for them to lose only 4 games in the entire season, I mean, it shows. And again, I mean, the point difference is also probably 1 or 2 points. So yeah, so you can see that, you know, I mean, it's not a straightforward victory as well for this Serie A season. So I think it's very, very entertaining in that sense. Something that you seldom will see about the Italian league. And of course, I mean, Juventus are the favorites to win something, but end up, they didn't actually did as well as they should in the league as well. So all in all, I would say, yeah, I mean, Italian Serie A has been great. And now I think since AC Milan has won it, I think I should start watching them more regularly next season, hopefully.
Definitely. I think Serie A is definitely one of the season to watch in the next coming seasons and all, especially with all the transfer that's happening. Hint, one of the player went back to Inter Milan, which we're going to talk about in the other episodes for transfers alone. So, gonna move on to one and final league. I'm sorry, no offense to Bundesliga and Ligue 1. It's still the same. It is still Bayern Munich winning and PSG winning by a landslide. There's not much to talk about there. But La Liga will be the last one to talk about. Reason why I want to bring this up because everyone has kind of high expectation. Of course, everyone, Real Madrid, without a doubt, deserve winners. They are deserved winners. They won the Champions League. Karim Benzema was just on fire this season. But the team that probably a lot of people are disappointed is Atletico Madrid. They make good signings. They brought back Antoine Griezmann. Luis Suarez was at his peak last season in a way. He was going well. They got all the players, but no idea what happened. So, Mr. JB, do you feel that Real Madrid is actually going to dominate the La Liga in the next few seasons?
Well, next few season will be tough because it all depends on the transfer activity and such. But just to mention that, I think you raise a very good point. I think Real Madrid and AC Milan, I think the similarities for both of those leagues and both of these champions are actually old as gold. You know what I'm saying? I think the players that is consider age or aging players in football terms actually start to prove that they are actually just like fine wine. The older they get, the better they are. I mean, look at Madrid. I think people may argue about Benzema, but I think the man of the match, or I would say the man of the club, is probably Modric. He is the driving force. So, and I think the same can be said about AC Milan with Giroud and even Ibrahimovic playing a part as well. So so once a while, yeah, exactly. So once in a while, when you see this kind of players who you think at their age could not contribute much, I think they actually prove all those naysayers wrong. For this part here, especially that age is just a number, and if you do your hard work and everything else, it is what it is. And look at them being champions at this age. I mean, it's brilliant.
It's amazing, yeah. Like Harun Nazri, would you feel that Atletico Madrid and Barcelona are gonna catch out Real Madrid anytime soon? If Real Madrid can continue this kind of dominance going on?
I think it's going to be difficult for Barcelona at least. We all know all the financial troubles that they are going through right now. I'm not going to go in depth, and I don't know in depth how much it's going to trouble them in the near future. even though financial trouble, it seems like they're trying hard to get Lewandowski. I don't understand. Um, Atletico Madrid have a somewhat puzzling season, I felt. Again, like you mentioned, we were expecting good things. They were the defending champions. But somehow it just didn't click for them. But still, having said that, they finished third in the league, so they're still going to be in the Champions League next season.
Yep.
Like Mr. JB mentioned, Real Madrid, brilliant. Real Madrid reminds me of my good old days when I was playing for Tampines, when we had all the senior players in the team,
Yeah.
aging players in the team, and we ended up champions, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. I don't want to say it's easy for the coach when you have experienced players, but it does help. It does help when you have experienced players who have been there, done that, and I won't say I wasn't surprised, because at the end of the day, with Atletico faltering, it was only going to be between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And when Barcelona had to go through all those troubles, the money is always on Real Madrid. And what a season they had. What a season. La Liga and then in Champions League as well. So great season. Great season.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, it's not treble, but it's still one of the main doubles that anyone will go for, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Right. So moving on from the European League, let's talk about our local league that's currently going on. And as of recording today, we have seen the latest result, and that is LCS actually lost to Albirex Niigata and kind of blew the race open as we speak. So, Arnaz, we're going to start with you first. After 12 games, well, except for Young Lions, who have 9 games, after 12 games of SPL that are mostly played, what are your thoughts about the SPL that's going on?
Yeah, so I believe Lions T Sailors is still leading, even after today's loss. And then we have Albirex
by
in
3
second.
points, 3 points gap.
And then we have Albirex in second, and then Tanjung Pagar in third.
Correct.
Thus far, I won't speak too long about it, because we have 4 rounds of matches this season. It's going to be a long season. I don't understand the rationale behind the 4 rounds. Maybe it's down to the fact that we have lesser teams in the league. But yeah, it's 4 rounds. We all know about Lions T Sailors and Albirex, but I wouldn't say Tanjung Pagar is a surprise package based on what we've seen last season. But it'll be interesting to see how far they can push themselves. I guess a good finish for Tanjung Pagar would be to finish in the AFC Cup spot, even if they can push for second, because I feel as a neutral, I don't think Albirex has a good squad compared to previous seasons, based on what I saw, what I've seen so far, based on the technical abilities of the players. LCS is always going to be up there, so yeah, Tanjung Pagar is a team to watch for me. Yeah,
definitely. Mr. JV, what about you? Are you impressed or happy with what you see so far? I mean, you were a LCS fan back then. In the previous season, everyone was over the moon when they won. But how do you feel about this season?
Yeah, I would say this season started off with, of course, my one of the teams that I've always picked highly is Tanjung Pagar, right? I'm happy for them, brilliant start, and I think they really deserve where they are at right now. As for the top 2, I think no surprises there, right? It's either Albirex or ICT Sailors. But I agree with what Nazri mentioned, that it appears to be a weakened side as compared to past Albirex squad. So it's nothing to scream about. But the fact that they can still grind out results, especially like the one against Sailors, I think you have to give them credit, especially to the coach. And of course, I think the new signing, right? They actually signed Ilhan Fandi as well into the team. I think it's good development for our local players as well as a whole. So yeah, I mean, so far, it's quite a predictable league. But like what Arunazri shared as well, it's a long season ahead. Anything can happen. Just like the recent 2-2 draw between Geylang and Young Lions, who would have thought? Right. So Yep. So I'm looking forward to it. Although, yes, let's hope that by the time they reach to the fourth round, hopefully, fatigue doesn't kick in or too many injuries and or all of us starts switching off or yeah, who knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the league, of course, especially a local one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
not sure, and I'm not sure if the Singapore Cup will be returning. I
Hmm.
hope so. I hope this season they will
I
return
mean,
the
they are
Singapore
opening
Cup.
4 rounds. Why not? Have a shout for Singapore
Yeah.
Cup.
That's right. I hope so. But because looking at the clubs that are involved, like especially LCS just got back from the UFC Champions League, and I think right now both Hougang and Tampines are actually overseas for the AFC Cup. So I'm not sure how are they gonna fit in the schedule to fit in the Singapore Cup. But I really hope that the Singapore Cup comes back uh, as it's great for local football.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So I have 2 questions. I'm gonna ask you guys one first, and this is open for you guys to answer, whoever want to answer, or we can have a debate. If you guys look at the table right now, does this feel a bit of deja vu like last season? There's a separation between the top 4 and the bottom 4. Once again, even though yes, the only team that is only swapped is basically Tanjung Pagar and Hougang. That's basically swapped. Previous season it was the gap, but the whole point is the gap. The thing is it really that far off from the first to the last? How competitive can this league be?
Well, yeah, if you don't mind, Arunazri, I go first. I think it is a deja vu of last season, and I think sadly it is a reflection of the people who is supposed to be managing this league. I believe the people up there. I'm not sure whether they've done enough groundwork or anything like that, but it's almost like what you say. It's literally a mirror image of the things that we are seeing. So it begs the question: is the quality of the league not enough? And if indeed the quality of our league is not enough, then what needs to be improved on? I
Yeah.
believe this is the one that needs to be up for debate. And I believe recently, I think there's some talks also, but I'm not sure how true is it, but I kind of saw it off the internet or something like that. Um, that I think the Malaysia League is open to invite another team from the SPL to join them, almost like the Lions Star project the other time. Yeah, but and then I believe once those kind of rumors starts to happen, and then I think a few weeks back during the international break, uh, I think Hougang went abroad to the Malaysia League. I think I'm not sure who they go against. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Terengganu or something like that. And then I believe there's another SPL club that also went over, and I think it's Geylang. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, both Geylang and Hougang went over, and I think both brought back pretty bad results, but at least Geylang did manage to score. I think so. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I mean it's an unfair reflection, I would say,
But
because
would you
looking at the
consider a
quality of players that we have,
progress, or would you see it digress? What would you see at this stage?
as in digress or improve in
In
terms
terms
of
of
as compared to last
the
season.
league, because we're seeing the similar thing happen last season compared to now, where
Yeah,
there's a separation, and that separation is gonna show that lack of competitiveness of other league.
yeah,
Because no offense, even though
yep,
Premier League has 20 teams, and despite
yes.
20 teams, he ended up with a 2-horse race. And as a neutral, yeah,
Mhm.
it's fun that it goes down to the wire. However, it would be nicer if there are other teams pressuring the top 2. So
That's
similar
right. That's right.
concept, would you see this as a progress in terms of a league because of Lion City Sailors are now joining in the same head-to-head with Albirex, or more or less it's a digression? That's what it might be.
No, I would say it's almost neutral at this point.
Yeah.
Lion City Sailors by itself, yeah, you can say they're improving with the transfers and what have you, but the rest are slowly falling behind. And if this trend kind of continue, it will slowly, I mean, the rest of the teams will struggle, and you will see the points will be way far ahead. And I think the three of us also, I think we have discussed on this, and I feel that I kind of agree that we need to have some form of relegation system, some form of uh I would say something to play for. Yeah, because all in all, I mean, just take a look at Young Lions now. What are they? You know, they started off as a project or whatsoever, but what are they now? You know, what are they actually contributing now?
That's
Yeah,
true.
other than the names, you know, the players are not playing for the badge because there's nothing to play for. Yeah, like all in all, they're just playing to get another contract at one of those other clubs that's above them. So I'm not sure what their project is going about. And of course, you know, being that there's only 8 teams in the league, also doesn't help. You know, I feel like there are other ways to improve. I think Harun Nazri can chip in and can also touch in on some of these things. So all in all, I think this season alone, it seems like neutral. You know, it's almost a mirror image of last season, and we are only like what 10, 12 games. You know,
12 games in.
right now. Yeah, exactly. As of right now, and yet you see, especially teams like Balestier, like they got some signings, yeah. They got us excited as well, but I think they've been on a losing streak since I don't know how long. Geylang International as well, you know, they got some decent players. They got Zuzu, you know, and they seem to fall behind as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Hougang is also not a reflection of themselves last season. So I don't know, man. It's neutral. Perhaps Harun Nazri can chip in from his coaching point on what
Yeah.
can be improved for the
Yeah,
league.
so like Harnazi, like similar, like we can see the separation between the top four and the bottom four. But however, we kind of, is it something that we should have seen it coming? Because when the moment LCS kind of owner takes over, and we can only see this as just a 2-horse race in the coming future, and from third to eight is just gonna be a battle out of between them, or will there be some progression?
Okay, I'm sorry. So this is actually a very good topic that has been brought up, Faiz. So excellent, good job.
Thank you.
I feel, to answer your question, if things remains as they are, uh, we're gonna keep seeing this. We're gonna keep seeing Lions T Sailors and Albrechts. Maybe now Tanjong Pagar and Tampines. Before this, it was Hougang and Tampines. If things remains as it is, I think it's just gonna be them. Look, I'm very grateful that I've had the opportunity to play in the league before, and then seen it progress from the time that I was there. Um, but when I use the word progress, it's kind of iffy because, look, we all know we can't lie. Lions T Sailors have the financial backing. Albrechts, even though they don't have the financial backing, but they have players from Japan, and we all know Japanese players are technically more gifted. I won't say gifted, technically more proficient as compared to our Singaporean players. And then if we talk about Tanjong Pagar also has a little bit of financial backing. We all know that. For Tampines and Hougang, they don't have as much financial backing, but with Tampines, they have Coach Gavin, and we know the structure that he's trying to come up with, focusing on youth, developing youngsters, in a way, a second young Lions team. But these players are a little bit more experienced players because they get the chance to mix with older players in the team for Tampines. For Hougang, this year, I got nothing against anyone, but they have taken steps back. I feel they have taken steps back.
It's very scary.
Yeah, and whom are we left? We are left with Balestier.
Balestier and Geylang, yeah.
For all the brouhaha before the season commence, I don't see any improvement. Again, nothing against anyone. I don't see anything from Balestier's perspective. I don't see a style of play. Maybe it takes time. But we are already 12 games into the season. They've played preseason matches. They did go overseas to play against Terengganu during the off-season break, recently, about a week or 2 weeks past. And then they come back to Singapore and they get hammered by LCS. So, and then you look at the state of the pitch at Toa Payoh Stadium. Oh my goodness. And then Geylang, I believe, I take a look at the Geylang team, Geylang international team. They have a very strong 11.
They do.
I have
On
to say,
paper,
they have a very strong 11, but they don't have a strong bench. All of their strong players are playing, but the ones on the bench are not as strong. It's either made up of youngsters or players who are not of first 11 material. So, you know, I can't say much because I think I have said what I have to say. If the administrators decide to just let it be, we're gonna see this all the way. We're gonna see the top four being the same clubs, being the same clubs in the top four or top five, and then the bottom three will always remain the same as well. So I feel, of course, there are a lot of suggestions, and I think we even had a guest who also spoke about, what we want to see in the league. But if my wish, if you're asking me my wish for Singapore football right now, my wish is for an administrator to come in and for him or her to open it up to everyone, get financial. I keep on saying this, and I know it's easier said than done, but
Yeah.
my wish, because it's my wish is for all the big companies to come in, take over a club, let them run. You can have, last time we have Courts Young Lions, we can even have Sheng Siong, we can have,
Yeah, we can have all the funny breads. It's fine for
the
now.
IKEA, we can have Geylang Giant International, we can have Tampines Hyundai Rovers or whatsoever. We can have all that.
Yeah.
But until that happens, at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, football is about passion, football is about emotions, football is about feelings. But we can't lie, or we can't stray away from the fact that football is a business nowadays.
Yep.
If you don't have the money, how are we going to talk about business? If we don't have the financial support, let's take a look at Geylang. And if we were to interview Coach Noali right here, right now, I bet you he's going to say, whatever team that he puts out on the field and whatever players that he has on the bench, it's all down to limitations from a financial standpoint, from the budget standpoint. So
Yeah.
how do you help the coach then?
Yeah.
For
There's
for
only so
for
much a coach can
there's
do.
only
Yeah.
there's only so much that a coach can do. He has to play with the constraints. He has to play with the budget. And I choose to believe, because of the budget that's been given to him, this is what he can afford. And this is the team that he can put out on the field. This is the team that he has on the bench.
Yeah.
What else can we do? What else can, and fans are demanding nowadays, yeah? Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion for sure. But I hope for fans, you don't just look, of course, everybody wants to win, even myself
Yeah.
as a coach. I want to win as well. But there are a lot of other things behind the scenes that people do not know of. They do know. I feel that maybe they do know, but whenever, we are human beings at the end of the day, we let our emotions take control of us. Sometimes we don't think before we speak. So,
Yes.
I like I say, I'm a neutral. I would love to see what Balestier can do after the third round, because like I say, this four round competition.
Yep.
I would like to see it. I want to see substance from the Balestier squad third round onwards. I want to see, of course, I want to see Geylang picking up points. I want to know what's next. Same as Mr. JB. I want to know what's next for Young Lions. SEA Games is over and we didn't do well. So what's next?
Yeah.
What's the plan for these players now?
That's
So
true.
yeah, so that's the way I look at the SPL. If you're asking me, you ask the question whether we are progressing or we are digressing. I feel we now at this moment, apart from Lions T Sailors who are making strides, who are taking strides, I feel the league as a whole stagnant.
He's stagnant, right? Yeah.
If I'm an investor, unless I have 6 other investors that is going to come in and take over one club each, I'm going to be interested in doing that. If not, then you want me to just compete with Lions T Sailors? I would rather, if I'm an open investor, I would want all investors to come in, take over a club each, and then we compete on a level playing field. And only when that happens, we're going to have a very competitive league. Rather than all players going to Lions T Sailors, now we can have all those players spread out among all clubs. Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm sure there was a point of time that everyone talks about how, the FAS needs fans to come and support the league and show that, that's only way it can grow. Of course, it takes two hands to clap. Not only just the fans have to appear, the basically the league or the FAS itself has to cooperate in a way. So I thought about this, and let's go back to the most recent match, not the Lion City Sailors tonight, the Eastern Derby, Tampines versus Geylang. And I saw the number of viewers that was live streaming on YouTube. And that figure, I don't think we have seen this figure, of course, physically, but it would be great if we can. But it kind of tells you that there are fans who are actually still watching. I saw the highest it reached was 1.7K, 1,700 watching Tampines versus Geylang on that match. And I was one of them who watched. So in what way can FAS actually pull us to go? So my last question before we move on to a brand new topic to you guys. So Harun Nazir, I'll start with you first. What can FAS do to make you pull you into the game more?
Oh, this is a difficult question.
Yeah.
Look, Faiz, just to go back on your point earlier,
Yeah.
when you mentioned 1.7K watching the live stream between Tampines and Geylang.
Yeah.
I think the last game that Albrechts had, not the one tonight when they played against Lion City Sailors, when they were playing in Jurong East.
Yeah. It was over 2K, I think.
If you see pictures, the stadium was full house, both at the closed end and the open stands. It was full house. So this only shows if your team is of certain quality, people will come and watch. If your team, look, you don't have the budget, but if your team plays well, we are talking about Albrechts, we are talking about a team made up of 3/4 Japanese players, and we know Japanese players are technically proficient based on all the trainings that they've done there, and they can conjure up some football, some magic in moments.
Yeah.
Fans will come.
That's why I gave the example. My example was Tampines and Geylang, two of the most long-serving clubs, Singapore-based, and that so many people actually watch. Sure, it may not be the LCS fans, which is all new, and of course they have exciting project. Of course, people want to see, and Albirex, of course, like what you said, mostly are Japanese. Some of them are gifted, some of them are born to be talented, and all that. But with two local teams, no offense, but Tampines and Geylang at the moment for the past few seasons has not been challenging for the title. Let's agree.
True.
But the fact that two of them had a face-off this season and have that amount of 1.6 to 1.7K to watch, it shows that we still have people watch. So what can FAS do to bring those number of people there?
If this is just top of head, I feel what FAS can do, and I think I go back to my previous point from the previous question. I think for now, what FAS can do is help the clubs, not by giving them money, no, work with the club's administrators, the financial department of the club, work with the people in the club, I feel the FA should try and take the lead to work with the club administrators or ownership to try and find them investors who might be interested in taking over club. Look, maybe the investor might not need to be a big name brand, but people are not stupid. Fans are not stupid. When you see effort, you just take a look at our recent Lions, our national team. We didn't progress, but I made you, we made a couple of new fans. I can bet you we made a couple of new fans. Based on what? We all know that they were trying hard.
Yeah.
We all know. We are lacking a certain quality to reach that level, but you see the boys trying. And I bet you the fans, there are for sure new fans coming on board. So, but it goes back to my point again. Why not we try to get FA to work with the club's administrators, try to find them investors. We don't need to find big investors. Maybe for now, the bigger the investor, the better. But when the investor is there, when people see that the club is trying to do things right, that will invite people in. My love for Singapore football will always be there. And as long as I see players giving their best 100% on the field, I'll support. As long as I see the players giving their 100% maximum effort, playing for the badge, I'll come. So I feel if there's one thing, if you're asking me one thing that the FA can do, I feel go down to the club level, get in touch with the administrators, work something out, and then we see how it goes along the way.
All right, thank you. That's a very good answer and insight. Mr. JV, what about you? What makes you feel that FAS should do, or what's the one thing that they can do, not only to pull you, but the rest of the viewers that we watch, usually on YouTube live stream or from the, what they call it, the MediaCorp app and all that? How do they pull these viewers in when they know physically they don't have fans to show up at the stadium, but the numbers are still there? So it shows that they are fans. So what can they do?
Yeah, I mean, of course, as much as you can fault FAS or try to give a critique and tell them to improve, but I think you need to give credit due lah. I think putting it on YouTube, making it accessible to all of us, I think that one is a brilliant job, I would say. Not many clubs are doing that, but I'm sorry, not many countries are doing that. I know Malaysia is also doing something on their YouTube as well. So that is great. And of course, I mean, you want to compare numbers, you can also, equate to the JDT games. If you look at the viewers, in terms of all their matches, it's also in the hundreds and thousands. And of course, you're talking about, crowd size and everything else lah. But all in all, I feel that yes, as much as they did put in the effort, I feel like we are still a few steps behind in certain things that we can improve. Not saying that a few steps behind or FAS is not doing anything or anything like that, but it's more like simple steps to improve. Like for example, I think only recently they say that they just upgraded their broadcasting system and everything. That is good. That is positive. There is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But all in all, if you want to improve the fans and everything, you don't need to look far. Just look at Lion City Sailors. I think I saw something on Facebook just now. I think before the game started, they have booths, they have shops, they have carts, they have all kinds of activities on going outside the stadium, pulling the crowd.
Yeah.
And all these are efforts that is, that can be shown that fans love these kind of things. But sadly, like what Harun Nazi mentioned, all this requires money. It is business after all, yeah. And all in all, I mean, we also understand FAS is just an organization. You have constraints. So what can you do to pull in investors? You need to get people on board because you know that money is a constraint and it's a fact. And I recall, it's something simple like back in the day, I think when Harun Nazri was playing and when me and you, Faiz, you always go down with Harun Nazri's dad, to watch him and support him and before that, everything else. I mean, I'm not sure you guys remember. You guys remember the match day guide that we always get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Guides,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those match day guides. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure if they're doing it now.
No, I don't think
But
so.
yeah, exactly. These kind of small things. And I remember the other time when Nabado Stadium, there's a mini cart over there where they sell Geylang flags, Geylang erasers, pencils, whatever you name it. Why? Because the crowd is kids. You know what I'm saying? When kids love it, parents will bring them down, and that's where you get the crowd. Plain and simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course we can. Yeah, and of course we can argue about ticket prices and everything else. I mean,
To be honest,
okay,
ticket
I
prices
understand.
isn't really much of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, ticket price. I mean, that's the thing. You see, if you can pull fans don't mind paying the money. Trust me, fans don't mind paying the money.
Sure.
Yeah, you look at Lion City Sailors. I mean, you just need to take a look at Jalan Besar Stadium just now. It's pretty packed. It's pretty packed, and I think the ticket prices have been the same or probably slightly higher. I'm not too sure, but all in all, you see, it is the pull factor. You see, Lion City Sailors, they make memberships. They try to emulate, some of the clubs, from overseas, what are the things that they have,
Season booking
membership
and
discounts.
stuff like that.
Yeah. And then, it just so happens that, the owner, it's obviously has links with Shopee and everything else. They give out Shopee vouchers. They sell their jersey on Shopee. It's all these things that helps to play a part. Like how many people shop in Shopee? I do, you do, everyone does. So why are we only seeing Lion City Sailors selling jersey over there? Why are we not seeing, I don't know, other clubs on Lazada or something? Correct me if I'm wrong, but if let's say there is, then there's something wrong on the marketing side. Why are you not promoting it? Why are you not pushing for it? Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's
a bit
a
of
little bit of
everything. It's a bit of
misinformation. Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of everything. It's all grassroots. But at the same time, after the grassroots, you need to take a look at, being a professional club, how do you run it and everything else. Because fans will come. Like what Harun Nazi said, fans will come. If you have that favorite player, that one player that's good enough to pull the crowd, or perhaps the entire team is playing well, the crowd will be there. The crowd will be cheering. And like what you say, Faiz, is pretty spot on. I think right now is the best time for Singapore football, because in terms of the fans, in terms of the YouTube numbers and everything else, people are following the AFC Cup. I have friends who've never watched SPL, but they're actually following AFC Cup. They actually can name at least 4, 5, 6 players in Lion City Sailors. You see, all these things are, efforts in the right direction, but sadly enough, you see, our league sometimes can be a bit of a letdown in terms of the teams, sometimes the way they play and everything else. But yeah, all in all, which is why I kind of mentioned my point just now about the Singapore Cup, yeah, because the league is a league. End of the day, league goes by points, yeah. At some stage, right? If you are on the bottom half of those teams and you see you are like probably 30 points away, for example, from the top 2, for example, what is the motivation? Yeah. Yes, it's true. We are all footballers and everything else. We know it's our job or whatsoever. We love doing what we do and everything else. But we are all human at the end of the day. Yeah. Let us all be all realistic here. You look at the points, you know that you need 30 over points or whatsoever, double digit, and then for example you only have 10 games left. And especially for example, if you are young Lions, no offense, to them, but I'm just putting it out there, yeah. If you are those bottom 2 clubs, what are you playing for? What is left? Yeah. Are you really playing for the badge? Yeah, you can say, I still show up for training and everything else, but you're probably playing, you're probably just playing for the salary. That's it. Because there's no cups, and which is why I like this kind of cup tournaments. No offense, but these cup tournaments are the chance, I feel, and the platform for teams who are not doing well. Your mid tables, the ones who are struggling, because all you need is 1-0. You look at tournaments. If you win 1-0 all the way up to the final, you leave the trophy. You leave the trophy.
And to be honest, those kind of knockout tournaments is where most of the fairy tales could happen, especially for the lower end teams. Yeah.
Exactly, for sure. So so it is what it is. So which is why I'm a bit sad by how the league is going on in terms of the quality of play. Yes, as fans, we have expectations, of course, like what Nazi said. You running a football club, what is your objective? Of course, to win, right? By the end of the day, you can't have 10 teams winning 1 cup. There will always be one winner in any competition. So it's just the effort, the passion, and of course for all these clubs, this administrator, I think now is a perfect time to use your social media, get it out there, use all these platforms, your websites, your everything and anything. Nowadays football is like that, yeah. And it is what it is. We can't compare to back in the day where yes, you may not know the players, but you can just follow passion and love. But sadly nowadays that passion and love is derived by brands, by looks, by style, by it is what it is, because the climate has changed for football. It's becoming a business now. It's becoming a brand, whether we like it or
Football
not.
has
Whether
changed.
there are people.
General football has changed.
Exactly. General football has changed. Yeah. You see, like recently, Beckham was invited over to Singapore, but he was invited for what? It's not really for football. It's coming to Adidas to talk about mental health, but people still go there. MU fans went there. Real Madrid fans went there. Why? Because he's a walking brand. Football is like that. You need that kind of walking brand. So I feel like I really hope that our
Fandi Ahmad was a brand for Singapore back then.
There you go. You see, pretty spot on. You see, you just mentioned Fandi Ahmad. Anywhere in the bus stop, anywhere. You can be anywhere. You mention Fandi Ahmad, someone will know. Bam, someone will know. Bam. You see? And after him, who else? Yes, we do have, your Noah Lamchas,
but not as big as him.
Yeah, exactly. Not as big as him. Why? Because he managed to break that, that kind of boundary that he did. And nobody can argue and say that, oh, he's not a team player. No, he is a team player. But he kind of made his name for himself as well. And nowadays, look at his kids. And I really hope that his kids are the next one to show, the ropes, and hopefully can be a brand as well. I'm not here to talk about, make a brand, make money, but don't care about football. No, but you can do both at the same time. You can be good at football. You can be a decent professional, but at the same time, make a name for yourself, earn good bucks, be the so-called local hero of football again. You can do that. We can have that. You want to talk about good things? We do have good things. At one point we signed who? Jermaine Pennant. Who is Jermaine Pennant? Everyone knows Jermaine Pennant.
Yeah.
But after that, it's just like a sour taste in the mouth. Like when people ask, what do you remember about Jermaine Pennant in the SPL? You can't say much. You can't say any good things other than his name. That's it. But what is the contribution? So, I really hope that, the players out there, they try to come out of their shell and do their best, of course. But like what Arun Nazri said, end of the day, we are all human. There's limitation. Money talks, brand talks, start to, especially the management, the top people, the owners, the investors, start, to try and, help out the league. It is a collective effort at the end of the day. There's no such thing as, one person, can change everything overnight. It is a collective effort. And, you don't need to look far. Just look at JDT, look at how they come down from the team bus, look at what they're wearing, look at, everything else. Yes, people may say, oh, JDT, you throw them in the Champions League also, I doubt they can win it. But, that's the first step, yeah. And that is something that I believe TMJ has done well. You want to be champion, you got to feel like a champion. You got to look like a champion. You got to have that mindset first, and then you build. Yeah, because talent is not, talent is not given. There are some talented players, but all in all, it is the mindset. You start changing bit by bit, step by step, and then the fans will be there. And I really hope that one day our league can really, be at that level. Because honestly, look at Singapore history, just Singapore football by itself. We have history. We have history in football. But when you look at our league, what history have you got other than your Fandi Ahmad, your Kadia, your time? After that, there are some moments here and there, but after that, now look at where we are. Look at our country's football ranking, and then, it kind of begs the question. We have technology, we have everything. So what is lacking? So I hope, this is something for us to ponder, and hopefully we can discuss more of this topic. Yeah, a very good topic, Faiz, and my apologies if I go a bit too long
It's
there.
good. It's good. No, thank you. Thank you both for the insight. It's been a while since we have this kind of passionate insight and sharing of our emotion and feels, which is exactly what we want from this podcast. So don't worry, guys. People who are watching on YouTube or listening by Spotify, stick around for our part 2, where our gentlemen here, the experts here, are having their quiz. It's been a while since we have, but it's a little bit of twist, so do stick around.